Yo, what's up? Now we're going to jump into something a little different. So I really want you to listen to this as to break this down very carefully. All right? Out of Bill Cooper's book, Behold the Pale Horse, the Illuminati declaration of war upon the American people. So the powers that be have declared war on the American people, as you already know. So I read the top secret document which explained the solid weapons for quiet wars. It's a doctrine adopted by the policy committee of the Bilderberg Group. Its first known meeting was in 1954. The copy was found in 1969, was in the possession of the Naval Intelligence Officers. So top secret, silent weapons for quiet wars. Okay, it is patiently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of society. The engineering of social automation systems, solid weapons on a national or worldwide scale without implying extensive objectives of social control and destruction of human life, slavery and genocide. This manual is in itself in a long declaration of intent. Such a writing must be secured from scrutiny. Otherwise, it might be recognized as a technical, formal declaration of domestic war. Whenever any person or group of persons in a position of great power and without foreknowledge and consent of the public uses such knowledge and methodology for economic conquest, it must be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between said person or group of persons and the public. The solution of today's problems requires an approach with a ruthless candidate, with no agonizing over religious, moral, or cultural values. You have qualified for this project because of your ability to look at human society with cold objectivity and yet analyze and discuss your observations and conclusions with others of similar intellectual capacity without a loss of discretion, of humility. Such virtues are exercised in your own best interest. Do not deviate from them. Okay, historic introduction. Solid weapons has evolved from operations research or strategic tactical methodology developed under the military management. Started in Eisenhower's time in England during World War II. The original purpose of operation research was to study the strategic tactical problems of air and land defense with the objective of effective use of limited military resources against foreign enemies. It was soon recognized by those in position of power, the Council on Foreign Relations, that the same methods might be useful for total controlling a society. But better tools were necessary. Social engineering, the analysis and automation of society requires the correlation of great amounts of constantly changing economic information. So high-speed computerized data process system was necessary, which could race ahead of society and predict when society would arrive for capitulation. Relay computers were too slow, but the electronic computer invented by 1946 by J. Presper Eckert and John Markey filled the bill. The next breakthrough was the development of the simplex method linear program in 1947. The mathematician George Stanzer, then in 1948, transistor invented by J. Barton, Brayton, and Shockley promised great expansion of the computer field by reducing speed and power requirements. With these three inventions under the direction, those in position of power strongly suspected that it was possible for them to control the whole world with the push of a button. Immediately, the Rockefeller Foundation got in on ground floor by making a 4-year grant to Harvard College, funding the Harvard Economic Research Project for the study of the structure of the American economy. 1 year later, in 1949, the United States Air Force joined in. In 1952, the original grant period terminated in high-level meeting of the elite, Illuminati, was held to determine the next phase of social operations research. The Harvard Project had been very fruitful and has been born out of the publication of some of its results in 1953, suggesting feasible of economic social engineering studies in the structure of the American economy. Okay, they engineered in the last half of the decade of the 1940s the new quiet war machine stood, so to speak, in sparkling gold-plated hardware on the showroom floor by 1954. With the creation of the Mansion in 54, the promise of unlocking unlimited sources of fusion atomic energy from the heavy hydrogen in seawater. The consequent availability of unlimited social power was possibility only decades away. So the combination was irresistible. The quiet war was quietly declared by the international elite, the Bilderberg Group, at a meeting held back in 1954. So from then to now, they never let up. So although the silent weapons was nearly exposed, 13 years later, the evolution of the new weapon system has never suffered any major setbacks. This volume marked the 25th anniversary of the beginning of the Quiet War. Already, this domestic war had many victories on many fronts throughout the world. So in 1954, it was well recognized by those in position of authority that it was only a matter of time, only a few decades, before the general public would be able to grasp and upset the cradle of power, for the very limits of the new silent weapon technology were as accessible for public utopia as they were for providing private utopia. The issue of primary concern that a dominance revolved around the subject of the energy sciences. Now, I know that's a little outlandish. A lot of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But that's going to be phase one. Meanwhile, study up on that. Get your law dictionary and study up on the silent weapons for quiet war. So next we're going to pick up on the energy. Then we're going to break down the next few days so that you'll be able to understand exactly where and how this apply to us in a negative way.